What in the World is supported in part by the World Affairs Council of Greater Reading.
Welcome to the show. Mike Sutton here, host. What in the World with the World Affairs Council of Greater Reading. We are the premier organization in the Berks County area promoting enlightenment and understanding on global issues. Thanks for joining tonight. Big show. There's another big show on TV tonight, so hopefully we're a good lead-in. Luckily not up against the State of the Union. I imagine we have an audience who's also interested in some events like that. But on the show with me tonight, a very familiar face, somebody who you all have seen very many times. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit about where she's been for the past year or so. Sherry Cameron. Hey,
hello,
Sherry.
hi, Mike.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Oh, I'm
Does
so
it feel
glad.
familiar?
Yeah,
to be
it
back
feels
in the
very familiar.
house?
It's very nice to
Awesome.
be here.
What have you been up to for the past year?
Well, I've been up to actually one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, which is great decisions.
Terrific.
And so, would you like me to begin? Or do you have other questions?
Well, you're
for
not
me?
here alone to talk about
That's
this.
right. No, David's here also.
Past president of the World Affairs Council, co-chair of the Great Decisions program that you guys are putting together, Dave Carroll.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, indeed. And as Sherry said, we think it's a great program. We're very proud of what we're doing and hope to be able to tell you a lot more about it as the show goes along.
Yes,
Right.
and it sounds like we're just going to jump right in.
Well, and I also want to mention, because we agreed that we would, because she is not here, is Jerry Kozloff.
Who is also helping
who is
with
the third of the
triumph of
team.
the third member of the Musketeers.
That's right. And she's in luck because she's in Arizona, and she's been enjoying
Nice
beautiful
weather
weather, and everything's been great.
Well, beautiful here today in
Oh,
Reading.
it
We
was
had got up to 65.
I saw
was great.
62, but
Yeah,
it
love
was
it.
like, it was
like spring.
Thank heavens, it saved all of us.
Well, wait
from
until they're later.
certain depression. But anyway, yes.
The council has a lot of programming. We do our luncheons, we do the breakfasts, we have this TV show that we do, and Great Decisions has been a program we've been doing for a long time.
Yes, indeed.
And David has long argued it's one of the best kept secrets of the council, so we're going to fix that tonight.
That's right. Thanks,
Right. Well, it's just wonderful that we get a chance to do this, Mike. Thank you. I mean, this is terrific. But I think that for those of you out there who may not know what Great Decisions is or are, because there are many great decisions within Great Decisions, it is a program that is developed. The materials are developed by the Foreign Policy Association in New York, and they are wonderful materials. And David and I are going to talk a little bit more about the materials in just a little while. But they consist of 8 topics, and along with each topic is a DVD presentation, always by a world expert on the subject. And so that the program consists of a written topic that people hopefully will do their homework, Mike. They will read it before they come in, and then they will watch the DVD presentation, which is excellent, and then we will have conversation. And this is one of the most important points of the Great Decisions program. And I'm very lucky to be able to be talking about it because it is a wonderful idea. The idea is generally that people will be able to come, hear some of the most important topics and discussions of our day about foreign policy, and be able to speak and give their opinions and comment in a very civilized atmosphere where there is no anger, where we are not of one mind, we are of many minds, we are of many opinions, and people are able to speak without being worried that there is going to be something either unpleasant or discussion that they're not going to like, or that someone is going to monopolize the conversation and they will not get a chance to speak if they would like to. And so we're hoping that this is going to be something that people from all over Berks County, and actually a little outside of Berks County
Yes,
now,
indeed.
right, in Lidditz, will be able to enjoy and come. Each program and discussion lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. There are facilitators for each program. Of course, you may remain silent if you so wish, but if you have something to say, we certainly hope that people coming and registering will say it. We really want it to be civilized and mind-growing and thoughtful conversation.
This
Yes.
civil
David, or-
discourse
yes.
is a hallmark of the council. We, address tough topics at our luncheons very often, and have great speakers who come in, and we're just dealing with the facts of the situation and some analysis, and we pride ourselves on our nonpartisanship, and we carry that over into this program. These are moderated discussions, oftentimes moderated by members of the council.
Yes.
Including Sherry and I.
Wonderful facilitators, really wonderful, who have become very professional over the last few years. They've gotten very good, along with some real professionals. We have some real professionals on the list as well.
David, what's the kind of structure of
Well,
how
I
these
think
conversations
I'd
go?
like to note for everyone that this year we're going to be teaming to create these programs. World Affairs Council is going to be teaming with 7 community groups. And for the first time, the Reading Public Library is going to be joining one of the 7 groups. As Sherry already indicated, it's spread amongst a number of locations in the community. 3 retirement communities, the Wyomissing Public Library, now the Reading Public Library, the Lidditz Public Library, and the Jewish Cultural Center, amongst others. The individual locations, the 7 individual locations, they determine what order they take the program in, and the time that they schedule and devote it to.
Some of which have actually already started.
Exactly.
Started
Yes.
this
yesterday
week, yeah.
and are
This week,
starting.
indeed.
Some are starting, like
Yeah,
the one at the Highlands
yeah.
is starting tomorrow morning. So, so we're, and some are in
And
the
I'm
evening.
facilitating.
And David's just going to go right from here to the Highlands and leave there.
We do have a page set up on the World Affairs Council's website, wacreading.org, dedicated to the program, where we list the locations, and as we get the dates, we'll start to list those there. So if you have interest in any of the things that we're talking about here today, then head over to the website, and that'll be a great place to get that information.
And I want to say, because this is something that we're really trying to promote this year, that if you register at one of the community places, sponsors basically, that should you miss a topic that you're very, very interested in, and you miss it because you're traveling, because you're ill, because the weather's terrible, because it's the wrong time of day, whatever it is, we're hoping that when you look at the schedule of the different places, if there is the same topic at another location, that you will find yourself there to hear it given and
Be
to
able
discuss.
to make it up.
And make it up.
So
That's right.
We keep referencing the topics. Maybe we should just look at that
I
a
think
little
we
bit.
should.
If you can go to
Yes.
my laptop image here. I have an outline of the 8 topics that are part of this series. Each location will go through this series at whatever dates they pick.
And one point, not all in order.
Not all in
Not
order.
necessarily. Some are go through absolutely in order.
Right.
Others go through depending on facilitator's
And not
schedule.
all, and not all will do all the subjects, but the subjects are great, and why don't we?
I mean, great,
about
hard-hitting,
Yeah.
current event topics here. Refugees and global migration, the Middle East, nuclear negotiations. Is there a more relevant topic
No.
right now with North Korea and Russia? The rise of populism in Europe. We
Yes.
could, look at the rise of populism around the world.
Yes.
Cyber conflict, U.S.-China trade, Mexico. Great topics.
Yes. They
How do
are.
you possibly cover all of these in the time allowed?
Well, that's partly why I mentioned the thing about everyone will get their book with all of these wonderful articles in them by really world-renowned experts on the topic. It is very helpful if you've, as I said, done your homework. I'm sort of being funny about that, but seriously, that you have read the topic, that you then watch the DVD, and then you were led into discussion.
so that by the time you show up, you can participate in the
you
conversation
can participate.
and be informed.
And honestly, there are many people in Berks County who know a great deal about some of these things.
Absolutely.
From business, from living, from travel. And they do have a lot to say, Mike. I mean, they do.
And many of them are members of the World
And
Affairs Council. so
many of them are
if
members
we
of the World
attract some
Affairs
more
Council.
attention, we can tell them how they'll join
That's
later in the episode here.
That's right, and David does want to say that, so you'll give him a
definitely.
chance. But yes, the topics are excellent, and I do want to make a point that actually Americans select these topics. They vote on them. At the end of the Great Decisions program, they are asked, What do you see as the main topics facing our nation right now?
So these
That's
topics were picked last year.
That's right. These topics were
They're
chosen
very
last year.
prescient.
Yes, yes. So all Americans who take this have the opportunity to vote for next year's
Yep.
topics, and we encourage them to do just exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And Mike,
David,
just, go ahead.
which of the topics are you moderating?
I'm moderating the state of the State Department.
Okay, so if somebody comes to that event, what's that going to look like?
Well, I think that's really going to be an interesting subject. First of all, the author of the article is former Ambassador Nicholas Burns, who's now at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. He served in the U.S. Foreign Service, including Undersecretary of State and the ambassador to NATO and to Greece. He's often on television as a commentator, and he raises in the article issues, for example, the mix of the State Department between political appointees versus career Foreign Service agents. The fact that currently the U.S. State Department has very low morale and is way down in terms of staffing. We had World Affairs had former Ambassador Bartran talking to us generally, and he made the point that 65% of the current State Department staffing is within 5 years of retirement. There have been very few young employees hired, and all of those points and others are made in the Burns article and will be potentially the subject for discussion.
Staffing of the ambassadors is something that we heard about on our last excursion,
right.
which Sherry's going to mention.
Talk about.
Teaser to Sherry.
But the State Department has also been circumvented, David, because we have all these special envoys going everywhere, which really lessens their power all the time. I mean,
yes, we do.
It might be efficient, but it is lessening what they are able to do.
Another difficult factor for the State Department is since President Eisenhower, increasingly the foreign policy issues have been determined not in the State Department, but in the White House with the National Security Council. And that's diminished the power of the State Department as well.
All of which is just a brief preview of what will actually be covered in the full discussion.
Exactly.
And so, this kind of gives some insight as to the depth of the conversation we'll have. This is going deep into some of these topics, well beyond what you see in the news, or even if you're somebody who follows this stuff. What are you moderating?
I was going to moderate India, but of all the ones that they decided to remove from this list was India. And they only decided on 8. There were 9 originally listed.
So what did you get?
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were moderating one.
No, because it's gone. And you know why I didn't get to do one, Mike? Because now we have people from our board and from professors around the county who want to do it. They like being facilitators, moderators
and we
of this.
do have a lot of engagement from the board. You're coordinating a lot of the moderators.
Yes, we have a lot, and they now, I remember the first year I had to go around and try desperately, to ask people to do it.
You were arm twisting.
I was arm twisting, but by this year, I no longer have to do that. And they know exactly which ones they like and which topic they want. And
I've had my arm twisted by you.
Yes,
Something you don't even really see coming, because all of a sudden you're...
Well, it's wonderful, because now we have people who have done many of these things, and they are very good at it, and they just take it on without too much problem at all, really at all.
So we talked about one of the topics. We talked about kind of what you have to do to prepare. If somebody shows up, what's their experience going to be?
Well, I think it should be really welcoming. Number one, we're so glad you're here, first of all. And secondly, we want you to know that we want to hear from you if you have something that you want to say. And if you want to stay afterwards and speak, and because we've had this discussion that happens sometimes, please do that, because our facilitator will be staying a little bit. Sometimes a facilitator chooses to show the DVD right away, so that they've done their reading, they get to see a visual. The DVDs are excellent with lots of visual excitement, I would say, very honestly. Wouldn't you, David?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, too, we've made it for the first time, World Affairs has done some facilitator training for our people as well as for the members of the community groups. And one of the points we want to emphasize is that, it is to be open to everybody. Everyone's should have the right to speak comfortably without fear of somebody monopolizing the conversation or going astray and going off subject. And that's a point that we intend to make to all facilitators and to the groups, to keep them on subject, to make it the most valuable use of people's times, to get the most out of the discussion.
And it's that civil discourse that really is, like you talked about at the beginning of the show, so important to the World Affairs Council. And to what David said, we're looking at 7 different locations. They all kind of run this independently, but the World Affairs Council is coordinating and promoting and really encouraging them to keep going through with this. And I think you guys are getting a lot of great traction. It's great to see the organization behind this, and
it is.
And the community, the council certainly appreciates the effort that the 3 of you are putting into getting this up and running. We do want to take a minute here to talk about some of our upcoming
Yes, we do.
programming.
Yes, we do.
And so February 12th, next Wednesday, is our next programming event. I have a slide here on the laptop. And this is going to be Cuba Relations with Dr. Portada. This is at the Inn at Reading, which is our standard meeting space for lunches.
Our base for lunches, yes.
We're in a great room there. We always have good lunches. And that's going to be on February 12th, next Wednesday. The doors open at 11:30. I used to show up at noon, but the line for the buffet is already
well, and it's so crowded now,
Yeah,
Mike,
so you definitely
honestly.
want to show up at 11:30 if you want to get
Or call if
the
you
food
want a
while it's hot.
reservation to be sure you get to sit down.
Yep, absolutely. And we
That's
direct
been an
people
issue.
to the website, worldaffairscouncil.org, or I'm sorry, wacreading.org to get that information.
Just a mind, I think it's the 13th, not the 12th. Wednesday,
Oh.
the 13th.
13th, yes.
I'll have to fix that on the website. So whatever next Wednesday is, we'll
That's
go with
right.
that for now.
That's right.
And then the week after that, a presentation by Keith Bilstein at Hawk Mountain. Great local landmark.
A
spectacular
treasure,
place to-
actually.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to what he has to talk about conservationism and what Hawk Mountain has done and what we see in the area. And I know we had 2 quick things we wanted to cover, so I'm not going to talk too much about the more upcoming events.
Go.
So let's talk about membership in the World Affairs Council.
Right. We really would like everyone who's watching the show to think about considering becoming a member of the World Affairs Council. We think that we've got a great programs, luncheons and breakfasts, as Mike earlier referred to. We have educational opportunities for the individuals. We do a great job, we think, of reaching out to students who we value very, very much. Our programs reach about 1,000 students a year. And lastly, we bring a lot of benefits to the community. Overall, we feel that what we're trying to do is make Berks a more viable place in which to live.
Yep, great. Membership is, it's a lot of fun. I love the events, I love the lunch, I love the breakfast. There's some other special events that we do. I'm going to ask Sherry about one as soon as we're done here. But if you're interested in membership, wacreading.org, contact us at wacreading.org if you want to get in contact with somebody, or just show up for lunch next week and ask around. We'll get you connected.
Absolutely.
Sherry, what have you got coming up?
Oh, okay. What I've got coming up is the trip, the annual excursion, which is going to be on April 10th. We are going to start to take reservations for it actually next Wednesday, the 13th, because the brochures will all be out. Save the date. It's on the news. It's on everything. It's on everything now, and it's going to be the most wonderful trip. Trust me.
The excursions are fun.
They are. This is going to be really fun, Mike. This is going to be. Do I have another minute?
No. But where are we going?
Oh, we're going to the Foreign Policy Research Institute, which we are going to have a talk on the Trump presidency in historical perspective. We are going to the White Dog Cafe in University City, and we are going from there to the University of Pennsylvania Museum to their 2 most popular tours, one of which is ancient alcohol, and the other one is global guides. And it is going to be a wonderful day, and seating is limited, and I suggest, if you have interest, that you call us pretty fast.
Everybody
okay?
on the board seemed pretty excited about the alcohol one.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, and there's going to be a tasting afterwards.
Yeah.
They have a microbiologist who has redeveloped ancient alcohols.
Yeah, very
Just want
exciting.
you to know that. So
All right.
it's going to be fun.
A lot going on.
Yes.
Great decisions, the excursion, the lunch events. You want to find out about all of it, head over to wacredding.org. Thanks for joining us. David and Sherry, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, see everyone next month.
Bye-bye.
What in the World is supported in part by the World Affairs Council of Greater Reading.